Yo, this your main man Neo. We got Nelly, we got Mazel Backroad, and we also got Mark70 in the chat today on the episode of Babble Talk. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian series. You already know what time it is. All right, we got some Star Wars fans up in here tonight, people. We got some Star Wars fans up in here tonight, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, you guys. So, what are some takeaways that you get from the Mandalorian series? I'm gonna let Mark70 start it off since he's not in the chat as much, and he's the biggest Star Wars fan in the chat right now. Then we're gonna do Nelly. Then we're gonna do Mazel Backroad. Then we're gonna do Neo. All right, let's go.
Cool, let's go. All right, so the Mandalorian. Oh my God, like the best thing to happen to Star Wars since Star Wars itself, in my opinion. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been a fan of Star Wars since the prequel series, because I got to see those in theaters. I didn't get to see the originals in theaters, but I've been a fan since the prequel series, which is not everyone's favorite, but it got me into Star Wars, and I'm still going strong. So, like Neo said, today we're going to go ahead and talk about The Mandalorian, which is streaming on Disney+. If you haven't already seen it, what are you doing with your life? Get it together. Borrow your friend's Disney+ account.
Yeah, sharing is caring.
Watch it. He's literally carrying the Star Wars franchise on his back right now. That's literally how powerful it is.
Poor thing.
Anyway, I'm going to just start off with giving it a rating. I am going full 9 out of 10. This show is amazing, especially since we don't have much to compare it to after the last movies. Unfortunately, they didn't help the series as much as we would have liked, but I'm really glad the shows are picking it up. So we'll stick with just Mando for this video for today, and we'll talk about Book of Boba on our next episode. So, what was your favorite part about it? I'm going to start off with the weapons. The weapons were definitely my favorite part. Seeing more of the Mandalorian culture, that's a huge one for me. Go ahead.
Nelly?
Okay, I guess I'm going.
Yeah.
Well, for one thing, the weapons were great. I think learning more about Beskar was really, really awesome. It's pretty much the vibranium of the Star Wars universe, and I love it.
Yes.
First and foremost, I gotta tip the hat to the man in the hat. Seriously, Dave Filoni really carries the legacy that George Lucas laid with The Mandalorian. Having these series on Disney+, they're really, really at the top of their game right now. When we all thought that the saga was really going to end back in 2005, Jesus, how long ago was that? How old do you feel when you really thought that, episode 3 was really the end of the franchise? Now here we are, all these years later, with these new stories, continuing on with, all these different characters. Mando, in my opinion, is honestly, I get it. Boba Fett had, like a mystery around him, but he had the cool gadgets, even though he had such a short amount of screen time, and he sold, like, the best toys, and I get that. But Mando really sold it to me as not only as a bounty hunter, but as, the lone hero type, he's got a code. He's really just, trying to put his, make his way around the galaxy, put it in his pocket as much as he can. But he's really got a really good heart. And, there's a lot of cross-sections that he has with certain Jedi that proves this. I really love what they've done with the story, especially with, little Grogu, or I guess as the main media calls him, Baby Yoda. Spoiler alert.
The child.
I love
Baby Yoda, a.k.a. Grogu.
No, but seriously, yeah, absolutely, honestly. I mean, it's such a great story, honestly, with pretty much, the long run of, basically the keeping up with the Kardashians, a.k.a. the Skywalker saga. Honestly, I love the detour that we take here. We've seen the mystical side. I love seeing the technical aspects. The first thing I thought of when I started watching the first season was when Han Solo said, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side. And Mando pretty much centers that. It really brings this home. And I'm just really excited for season 3, even though technically season 3 was the Book of Boba Fett, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, I'm
season
loving it.
2.5. All right, it's
2.5.
2.5.
Pretty much, but yeah, honestly, I love it. You know, I gotta ask, Oscar, what's your takeaway from this? What did you like the most?
Well, honestly, when I first heard about Mando, I didn't know much about him. Like, again, I'm not much of a Star Wars fan like that. Like, one who's mostly followed it was my brother. Honestly, don't kill me for this. I legit thought Mando was actually Boba Fett. Star Wars fans, don't kill me. Do not kill me. All right? Again,
Y'all better roast
know
him in
much
the
about
chat,
lore.
man. Roast him in the chat.
But I do have to agree with Nelly. Like, the story was really good, and this was like the first show, like Star Wars wise, that got me hooked into the franchise again. You know, and the weapons are pretty cool. You know, I'm just like, damn, I kind of want to get those weapons. Actually, not even the weapons, but the armor itself. You know, so that was pretty good. And to see his, you know, characterization build up with, you know, baby Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, was really nice to see. He kind of has that little father figure in him, you know. And on top of that, also fun fact, I actually didn't know it was Pedro Pascal playing Mando, because the last thing I saw him was in The Kingsman. That was like my first introduction to him. So when I first saw him without his mask, I was just like, this guy looks familiar. Where have I seen him in? I'm like, oh yeah, he played a cowboy. What do you know?
You know?
I missed that one. All right.
It's funny you say that, because I was watching it with a buddy for the first time. I wanted to see his reaction. And
I froze.
Oh, you froze?
Okay, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see his reaction to what he would think of the series, because he liked Star Wars, but he fell off because of the sequel series. He didn't like it as much. So I said, okay, let me put a better taste in your mouth. Let's watch The Mandalorian and see how you react. So we watched it, and then Mando took his helmet off. And he's just like, where have I seen him before? And I'm like, oh, I got you. Life is good.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's
You guys know
yeah, it was
Game of
really, really
Thrones.
cool.
Oh my gosh.
The cast is
Am
actually
I the only one who
stellar,
watched Game of
too.
Thrones?
So what?
Am I the only one who watched Game of Thrones?
Man.
No.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
probably.
sure a lot of people recognize it that way, too.
Yeah.
No, but seriously.
It was all about no helmet in that show, and then all of a sudden he's all like all helmet in this show, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
He does a great
Right.
job. Go ahead, Neil. Let's go. Or Oscar, did you finish up yet? Or
Also, like last thing I will say, I actually gave the show a 9 out of 10 as well. You know, I'm excited to see what they'll do with his character in season 3. Go ahead, Neil.
All right, I'm gonna just say it off bat. This is the best show I've seen in a long time. You feel me? I give it a 10 out of 10 because when it first came out, I'm gonna tell you, I ain't watch it only because I like to binge shows right away. I don't like waiting. So when it all came out and I watched it, I was like, man, episode after episode after episode after episode. And then when I saw the child, right? What I love the most about the Mandalorian, he was like, I hate drones. Sorry about my language. I hate drone droids and stuff, right? And he had that bounty hunter droid about to kill a child. I was like, nah, buddy boy about to get blasted. You feel me? Boom, boom. You feel me? And do I like doom, right? And I love the most about his character was he was like, you give him a mission, he's gonna complete it no matter what, right? He didn't really care about the payment. It just depends if it's worth his time, right?
Right.
It's like, yeah, he want to get paid, like everybody want to get paid,
I love
but
that it was I love that it all started off like really, really hardcore on the money. But go ahead, keep going.
So, and then I like that everything was like, this is the way, this is the way, this is the Mandalorian way.
I cannot tell you how many people my job outside of like I could go to freaking Starbucks and somebody's just like, you know, okay, I got this and this and this, and then here's your change, and then he's just like, you put all your change in the jar? This is the way. And I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna hear this everywhere now?
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
And I love it. I even use it. I don't get it. I don't know what's so.
And it's
I
crazy.
think I think it's gonna rival. There's May the Force be with you, and This Is the Way. I think they're gonna be neck and neck for like the next
For
10
May
years.
4th. For May 4th.
Well, I haven't really heard, May the Force be with you too often. I don't hang out with that many geeks in person, unfortunately, so it's like, I never really does it. But I know a lot of people say This Is the Way, and they're like, kind of like Neo's, like, they weren't really, and Basil Microbe, they weren't really huge on Star Wars, but they saw Mandalorian, so they're like, yeah, I can get behind this. And did you finish wrapping up, Neo, or do you have anything else to add?
A few more things I want to add is that,
go ahead.
His the whole core of the Mandalorian, like, you don't take off your helmet no matter what. But when it came down to, like, man, I have to take this helmet off because I got to complete this mission, and it's the only way I can complete it is taking this helmet off. And when his face scanned and went through, I was like, oh snap, it's about to go down. Do you hear me? It's about to go down. Okay, I'm good.
I love that episode. I know exactly what episode you're talking about.
Yeah, I think so too. I know what you're talking about.
You know, which is funny. Yeah. There's a lot of different Star Wars homages I've noticed in the series, but there's a lot of like different elements from like different like movies, cartoons, and like even different like old school movies. Like there's certain episodes that have like a samurai feel to it. There's certain episodes that have like the dark western feel to it. Like there's even one episode where I'm like, wait, that's Rocket and Groot. I swear to God, what are they doing?
You are silly, sir.
And it was really great. The character development was great. The cast is stellar. You know,
pretty good.
You know, the fact that you see certain characters from like the Clone Wars series in real life, and it's just, wait a minute, that's who they got to play him, or that's who they got to play her, and I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm loving it.
Look who I see. I spy with my little eyes.
I'll bring it up. I got these all day, man. All day.
All day. Look, he's so excited. Look at that smile. That's like first Christmas of the year. Come on now. Look at that smile.
Star Wars is my go-to, man. Star Wars is my go-to.
Same.
So, I have a question for all of you guys. What did you guys think of the side characters? Because, Mandalorian had a couple of side characters, that he worked alongside with during his quests. What did you guys think? Did you guys have a favorite side character, or what it is? Like, what is
I would say, for me,
I like most of them.
I like them all. I like how they didn't kill off the side characters. I feel like, to me, I ain't really seen that many, unless I missed it. Like, certain side characters that you see come back is like, all right, this happened, this incident happened, and then they went their own path, and it came out better for them, and then somehow end up helping the Mandalorian in the end, right? So I like that aspect of it. So like okay, I'm gonna complete this mission, and by doing so, this side character their mission changes based on the interaction they had with him or whatever. Now some people died, yes, of course, but like the bounty hunter lady, I don't know her name, I forgot it, but
I think
Shin, right?
Wow. Damn, look at him. Look,
he knows it. He knows it over there, guys. He knows it.
I took roll call 6 times. I've seen this show 6 times. That's how many times I've seen it.
And
I binge watch them back to back while I'm working, except for the first time. I actually come home from work, and I sit down, and I'm just like, ooh, Mando. I tell everyone, shut the lights off. It's Mando.
That's Ming-Na Wen's character, right?
Yeah.
Ming-Na Wen,
Yeah.
What else? I think that was it. Yeah. What you guys?
I will say this though.
Orange helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's her.
Because there's not too many assassins in what do you call it, in the Mando series. There's like
no, but what I was thinking about, there aren't too many assassins, but Mando's old crew. Right. It very much reminded me of the Suicide Squad, if you ask me. And, that entire episode's arc, the fact that Mando has to pretty much turn his back on the crew, and he basically becomes Batman in that episode, just taking them out one by one. And it was just the most badass thing. And it was all in red, too. I'm like, what?
The whole Batman thing. He literally, he pops, you just see that one corridor shot with, I think it was, the Devil Dude, where he's just walking down the corridor. And he's all sweating and freaking out. Then we cut away. Then we cut back. He's all like, and Mando's right behind him. And then we just don't see him.
Yeah.
He didn't kill him.
Right.
He threw him in jail.
By the way, if you noticed, Gio, the guy at the scanner table, the guy with the helmet, that was Matt Lanter, one of the two. The voice of Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars series. So that was a nice little tidbit that they had there.
I did miss that. Cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact. If you didn't know, now you know, and I know.
The more you know.
I guess that's my question. We'll finish up with Oscar's question, but I guess that'll be my question later. What was your favorite cameo in the series from the Star Wars lore? I think we all have the same answer, but I'm going to just wait on it.
We better. I was about to say, wait a minute. You guys just want to just see it?
Honestly, I think for me, I like all the characters. Just because, again, it goes along with the story, and then the way Mando kind of built a friendship with these characters that, you know, later on, they pretty much come back in season 2. You know, I would say that about, you know, him. That's pretty cool to see. So, all right.
I think my favorite one was literally the ending, all right? So, huge spoiler drop. Our CGI Luke, Mark Hamill himself.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
When I saw the green lightsaber, I kind of cried a little bit, and I squealed.
Man, you don't know. I dropped my phone when I saw it. You feel me?
That corridor scene, dude. I was just like, oh.
Man, he was. You seen that man?
Like,
he had some black up in him.
Not only were they able to showcase Luke as a badass, because we never really got to see that. We showed him at his peak of finally becoming a Jedi, even though he hadn't faced his father yet. But now this is post-Empire, and he's basically become this distant legend that everybody hears. Wait, I heard there was somebody who blew up the Death Star. I heard there was somebody who took down the Emperor and Vader, but we don't know who he is. And, you know, from, like, the perspective of, like, a bounty hunter or just, like, a regular civilian, a Jedi is considered not only a myth, but, like, a wizard type. Like, a mystical thing, like, wait, they exist? And we really showcase that in the series because we're, like, on the sidelines. We're not following the Jedi Order. We're not following the Skywalkers. We're just, you know, on the ground. So to see Luke come in as, like, this, you know, OP badass out of nowhere, and like you said, Gio, with the corridor scene, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's Vader. No way they're really doing that.
Man, I'm just gotta say this. Look, if they had me up in there, I'm tearing it up. I'm going buck wild, boy. It ain't nobody stopping me, right? But
it made me want to practice my lightsaber technique. I tell you,
man. You know what'd be dope? You know what'd be dope if that. You know how the Mandalorian got the black saber or whatnot.
Yeah.
I want to see. I don't know if it's there or if he did this because I don't keep up with it as much. If he like learned the Force and he was wielding that sucker. Man, I will be at that movie premiere, wherever it's at. I'm trying to tell you, if I know it's going to be like that in that corridor, he was doing the same thing with his moves, with that little gauntlet. He'd be like, had the little butterflies come out and start stinging. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all, you know what I'm talking about.
Mando, he's more like an expert marksman, and then when he's in jam, he's got his like one-hit kill move, which is the whistling birds, those little butterflies.
Oh, those are great.
Once he gets that little spear gun, it's like, you know what? He can literally hold up to his, like, I like those odds when the odds are stacked against him.
I like
sometimes I'm actually surprised with Mando. Like, so no matter how many enemies he got around him, he'll find a way to get out of it. It's really crazy. I'm just like, is this the end for this dude? Like, he's literally surrounded, and this dude just comes out like a badass. I'm like, okay, never mind.
You know,
you lied.
I don't know a lot of people.
And what I like is that he's able to do that before and after the Beskar upgrades.
But you know what?
Yeah, you're right.
I love the new suit. The one I'm kind of sad that we didn't get the original suit for very long. It was like literally like an episode and a half, and then he just gets wrecked by a gigantic rhino. That's also when we see Grogu's like Force capabilities. When I saw him use the Force, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get Jedi power!" Cool.
I will admit though, despite it was awesome seeing Luke Skywalker back, I was thrown off by his CGI face. I don't know if it was just me or everybody else, but something looked really off with his face. I'm just looking at it, and you can tell obviously it's CGI, but I'm just like, I don't want to criticize or I want people jumping at me, but it's like something was off with his face, No,
actually,
it was just me.
I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know the guy's name. We'll find it and we'll put it in the description for the YouTube and the Facebook video.
Right.
There was a guy who actually went back in and corrected it. He
He did?
He adjusted the deep fake, and like I guess Dave Filoni's team saw it and they hired him for the future season.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, because what do you call
that.
he had kind of the floaty face, and obviously Mark Hamill, he doesn't look like that anymore. Obviously, just how life works. So they had to deep fake him, where there's a stand-in and everyone doing all the Jedi tricks is another guy with just a Luke CGI face.
Yeah.
And the world noticed it, and someone actually did something about it. He did such a great job that he got hired, which I was like,
I give props to that guy.
just like,
Props to him.
Man, he stole that from me.
Right there.
He stole it from me. I did it. I made it. You see his do-rag?
Yeah.
I made that. Come on now.
yeah, of course.
Come on now.
I'll give you this.
That well.
Come on now.
I'll give
I'm
him
the anime
this.
man.
On
Come on
first
now.
impact, when he didn't talk, it did look good. But, as soon as he started to speak, you could tell it was a little, floaty and it felt a little off. So,
I mean,
Like the more you stare
they
at
did
him,
do their best
like,
because they used two people. They used Mark and then they used somebody else.
right.
In that same shot.
From what I heard, they might want to have Sebastian Stan, who played the Winter Soldier.
Oh man, we've been talking about that for years.
Apparently.
I'd be down. I'm not gonna lie, I would be down.
Because he does look like him.
He does.
Yes. I've
So,
seen the photoshops where they put a Sebastian's face on Luke's body, and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, like it's him. It's this guy.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question.
I mean, in terms of continuity, it would work, and the way he speaks, it could fit Mark Hamill's style from 1980 something.
Yeah.
And this is meant to take place 4 or 5, maybe 6 years after the fall of the Empire. So.
I don't remember. I know it takes place after the fall of the Empire. I mean, there's still Fallout, obviously, so it's a couple years after.
Okay.
That reminds me. 2 standout characters for me that I'm waiting to see where we go in the future. Moff Gideon, and then an older version of Ahsoka Tano. I really love what they did here with those two. And, moving forward, which, by the way, props to my future wifey, Rosario Dawson. I love what she did with Ahsoka. I'm like, okay, yeah, that is Ahsoka, 30 years into the future.
Chef's kiss.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done.
So what were you saying,
before I start ranting, because I still got a mountain to get off my chest.
Ooh.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Neil.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about my question anyway. So you can go ahead. I had like 2 questions mixed.
Maybe I might answer it. All right.
Yeah.
So let's cover the story elements real quick. So a brief rundown of the whole series. We start off with Mando being a badass on his first bounty. We immediately move it up to him literally coming back to find a job, and that's what takes us to locating Grogu, which was one of my first favorite character, and unfortunately, the first casualty is IG-11, which is voiced by Taika Waititi himself, one of the episode directors. So if you guys didn't know already, most of the episodes are directed by a different director.
Right,
so
I noticed
that. Stick around for the credits and see which one did it. We got Taika Waititi. We got Bryce Dallas Howard, who's also the main character, one of the main characters from the Jurassic World series. And it's Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, which is obviously Iron Man 1 and 2. So
yes.
Jon Favreau.
I know one of them was Guillermo Del Toro too.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and those. Yeah. Then we have special episodes with Guillermo Del Toro and my personal favorite director, who is also the director for Book of Boba Fett. His name just slipped my mind. How do I do that?
It's Neo. Come on now, it's me right there.
Yeah, it's Neo. Of course it is. No, because he directed the Antonio Banderas movies for Mariachi. And those were my favorite movies growing up.
Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez was my number one director from years ago. When I found out he did a couple episodes of Mando, those episodes were probably my favorite because he directed the episode, which was the first episode we see Boba with his ship, and where they're on the hilltop and they have their last stand. He directed that episode, and I recognized the shooting style. I was like, this episode is too badass. Who directed this? So when I saw his name, I fell off my seat. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yeah, and I appreciate that how it's still cohesive storytelling, but you can tell the different direction stuff. Like you can tell Rodriguez's work, you can tell Guillermo Del Toro's work, you can tell like each element is by weave. All we need now is Tarantino.
That'd be
Tarantino.
That'd be really interesting. That'd be the first episode with some violence. And since like all the weapons in Star Wars don't really generate blood, it's going to be violent but not bloody because blaster bolts, they cauterize the wounds. Lightsaber cuts, they cauterize the wound. The only time we see a little blood was actually in Book of Boba, so we'll talk about that another time. So
another time, people.
No blood in the show.
But there is gore. There's plenty of ways to do gore without showing blood.
Star Wars galore. Gore galore.
God damn.
We got death everywhere. We literally got blood, death, and robots. That's about it. No sex.
Yes, robots.
Still no sex in Star Wars.
Let's keep it that way. No, let's keep it that way.
Maybe, I don't know.
He's a man.
Let's leave that.
Nah, hold up. See, the Mandalorian was about to get some when he went to that village with that lady. Like, Grogu can stay with me. You can stay too. Just take that helmet off, baby. We can get the rumbling and tumbling. You feel me? I was like, that man was about to take that helmet off, people.
That's true.
He was about to take. Hey, people in the chat, tell me he wasn't about to take that helmet off.
He said code before hose. No. She was
he said, this is the way.
He said code before doze.
Look, I would have been like, I would have.
Now is Mando walking up to her saying, I can take you in hot or I can take you in cold.
At the end of the day, he's going to be done. He's going to be like, this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the
This is
way.
the way.
That's going to be a weird way to finish.
Oh, I remember now. All right, so so you know how the Mandalorian Mando got the black saber, right? Because he wanted to do it, right? Do you think down the line he's gonna be like the leader of the Mandalorian, right? Since he got the saber, they were saying like, oh, if you got the saber, you can bring it back, you can restore the family name, stuff like that. Do you think now that he have it and he can figure out how to wield it, right, that he will be like the one to bring like more Mandalorians out of the shadows, Because I feel like he can do it. I feel like because he was like in the show, he's like, you're not working with the weapon, right? You're working against it, right? And it's like, I feel like he's doing it. He's probably doing it on purpose because he probably don't want that responsibility, but he know he have to step up to the plate to do so, like he done all the other times throughout the whole series. But I think he don't want to be ready because of Grogu, because he had that connection with him. I think he feel like he's gonna put him in danger. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I mean,
no, it makes sense.
Okay.
I think the real issue there would be like, because I know like there are certain sections of Mandalorians that are like iffy on like the rules. It only works when it applies to them, or they just it's a weird boundary that there's like in there. I think Bo-Katan is like the best example of that. Like in terms of working around the best option for how that saber works, because that used to be pretty much damn near was her empire that she was ruling with that sword. But now Mando has it, but she's still alive, and I know she's gonna feel some type of way because no matter what series she's in, she's always salty about some shit. So honestly, I don't know how this is gonna work. That's what I want to see the most in season 3. Grogu is gonna be a very integral part for Mando's personal story, but in terms of destiny and all that, in terms of like how Mandalore could be, bringing all the Mandalorians back, I really think it's gonna come down between Bo-Katan and Mando somehow. And I'm a little worried on how that's going to go.
But in the show, when that other Mandalorian is like, this is from my family lineage or whatever, it belongs to me, and he still got his butt whooped. I'm like, come on, man, that's supposed to be your sword, bro. That's your saber, bro, and you still got whooped, and you still got whooped. If I was the Mandalorian, look, I ain't saying this is the way, but this is the Neo way. I would have tore that butt up, and I would have took it like
Now let's go. Let me give you guys some Star Wars 101 real quick. So the dark saber itself is explained in Star Wars Clone Wars, towards the 6th season, which was a Netflix original show, an original season, and then it was expanded upon in Star Wars Rebels, which was like a Disney XD show for a little while before it all merged over to Disney Plus. So if you guys, I do recommend those shows, Clone Wars and then Star Wars Rebels. Those two are canon, and Dave Filoni had his hands in those, so it all blends together beautifully. So the thing about lightsabers is the darksaber itself belonged to the first Mandalorian Jedi, which is why the code exists. He was like a bounty hunter like the rest of them. He had the armor and everything, and then he joined the Jedi Order, but then he didn't like the rules because he's all like, "You guys suck, so I'm gonna go through it my way." And he made the way. All right. Now the thing about lightsabers is the lightsaber itself is powered by a kyber crystal, which is, if you want to learn more about those a little bit, just watch Rogue One. They talk about the kyber crystal a lot. It is powered by the user's force sensitivity and their emotions. So the lightsaber itself getting heavier. This is a spoiler for Star Wars Rebels. If anybody, if you haven't watched it, by all means go. If not, skip to the 2 minutes ahead of this video. The first person to use the darksaber was actually one of the Mandalorians that Mando's actually from the same creed, the Death Watch. He found the lightsaber, he used it, and he wielded it really well. He took on Obi-Wan, which, super excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series coming up, but Obi-Wan is a badass. He could hold his own, but he's a Jedi Master. This is just a guy who has tons of tricks, tons of weapons, and he can wield this, complicated saber. He loses it to Darth Maul, which is awesome, the second important wielder, which he gets his own really badass corridor scene in the last season of Clone Wars, so go check that out. And he loses it to, I think they don't explain how he loses it. He loses it on a witch planet, which I'm not going to go into because, again, I can go all day, guys. My Star Wars just nerd. He loses his lightsaber. Star Wars nerd. He loses the dark saber.
I think I remember how he ended up losing it.
Did they actually explain how he lost it?
Not specifically. I know that it was left behind when he got captured by Sidious, and then there was a gap.
Oh, right.
When he had to be. Sidious. Yeah, and then he ended up back on Mandalore to fight Ahsoka, and then he escaped. And then there's that gap between that and then the Rebels. But I know that he lost it when he was captured by Sidious and we lost Savage Opress.
Them little black little monsters took it.
And then it comes back into story with Sabine, Kanan, and Ezra. So Ezra, which is, hopefully we get Ezra. He's already been cast. He actually finds the darksaber, and he can't use it either because it's weird. But Sabine recognizes it and says, yo, with this I can, unite Mandalore. And she's like a Mandalorian fugitive, she's a fugitive because she developed a weapon that specifically fries people with Beskar. This is aim assist for Mandos. It's like, what, we want to take out a Mando, we're going to use Sabine's weapon, and all Mandos on the field eliminated in one shot, which is like, go check that episode out. That show's really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff, and there's a lot of death in this show, which is really weird. So it moves on from there. Then somehow she gives it to Bo-Katan, which is now why it's in the Mandalorian series, but somehow we don't know how or why. We just know Bo-Katan loses it to Moff Gideon, which is something I hope we do see. I do want to see that. I want a Bo-Katan flashback where she somehow gets beat by this guy, and he's just kind of like, this is mine now.
Yeah, I think between that fight and then Ahsoka versus Grand Admiral Thrawn or Ezra versus Grand Admiral Thrawn, those are the big ones that I want to see.
Yes.
There has been a meme with Mando using that black sword. I think what was it? I think it was.
Why is this so heavy? And the armor is just because you're carrying the whole franchise.
Yeah, there you go.
Boy, no, that's crazy. Nah, you stupid.
I'll put that meme up on the screen as soon as I find it.
Oh, dude, I love that. That's a good meme right there.
Every time I see that, I crack up a little bit, along with the posts of Pedro Pascal's reported injuries, that his back hurts because he's carrying the franchise.
Yeah,
I love those.
Yeah.
All right. So, I have a question for the audience. I want the viewers to comment down which episode was your favorite and why. and what scene in that episode was like, this is a really good show. I want to keep watching. That's what I want you guys to do, right?
You will keep watching.
You will keep watching. These are the creators you want to watch. Okay, this is right.
No, there won't. What do you think you are, some sort of a Jedi waving your hands around it like that?
Yes, you see him.
All right, listen here, Jar Jar.
No,
Oh, so look.
Hey, that's what I know. Watch yourself.
So back in the day when I was in college, right? I used to always say when Star Wars was like big and everybody was talking about Star Wars, the only character name I would say was Jar Jar Binks. That was it. That's the only name I would say to any argument, to any conversation. I would come up to my friends and be like, "What's up, Jar Jar Binks?" Just because I just love the name so much. I love the name so much because it's so.
I will give Jar Jar
fun.
this much. He redeemed himself through the Clone Wars. All right. If you see Jar Jar in the Clone Wars, he's a totally separate character. If you watch Jar Jar from just the movies, you have to hate him. You just have to. He ruined the movies. There's no excuse. There's no going around it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you watch the series, where there's more time, you get to flesh him out. You kind of realize this guy's shady. He's not he's the only one to canonically nail a queen. All right, I'll give him that much.
Yeah, kind of.
See,
And
people are like, what?
you know what? I'm gonna give him this. He didn't ruin the prequel series. He was a nuisance. I wasn't a fan, but he didn't ruin it. I mean, canonically, he ruined the galaxy with that vote of no confidence, giving the Chancellor all them powers, but he didn't ruin the series for me. But I do find his ending story kind of sad.
And it was an episode with Mace Windu, so if it was a live action version, it would have been an episode with Sam Jackson. All right.
Right.
Yes.
That's the thing about Clone Wars. Clone Wars itself is like supposed to be a kid show, but as soon as you start watching it, like the Star Wars universe, just like, what's that whole Tony Stark moment where he discovers a new element, and you're just like, Star Wars is good. Yeah.
Which is funny. Now, I just realized something. There are now canonically 4 black guys in the Star Wars universe, and I love it.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Oh my God.
Am I one of them?
Yeah, let's go.
Find out next time on Babble Talk. All right, you guys, it's been a very great episode. Like I said before, comment down below from the Mandalorian series which episode you like and what scene in that episode you like the most. What is your favorite Star Wars movie? Right? If you like this episode and you want to see more, give us a like, smash this subscribe button. You already know. And follow us on all our social media. It will be linked down below. All right? That man crazy.
Predator featuring the Predator.
Right? It's all good. Watch our next episode coming out soon on Boba Fett. It's coming out very soon. And, just let us know if you like it. If you didn't like it, don't tell us that. Just tell us that you like it. Give us all a thumbs up, okay? All right. This been your main man, Neo, Nelly, Mazel Backrow, and Mark 70. Babble Talk out.
Good night, y'all.